Volkswagen of America was formed in April 1955 to standardize sales and service in the United States. Production of the Type 1 Volkswagen Beetle increased dramatically over the years, the total reaching 1 million in 1955. The UK's first official Volkswagen importer, Colborne Garages of Ripley, Surrey, started with parts of the model brought home by soldiers returning from Germany. Canadian Motors Limited brought in Canada's first shipment of Volkswagen on July 10, 1952, with a shipping order of 430,075. The order consisted of 12 vehicles, 3 Model 11C, a black, green, and sand color 311 GS, a chestnut brown, and a 2 azure blue, 2 24A M51 in red, 1 20A a blue, 1 23A in blue, 1 22 a beige color, and 1 ambulance. Volkswagens were seen in Canada for the first time at the Canadian National Exhibition in August 1952, were accepted enthusiastically. At least one Type 2 bus from this order still exists, and is currently France undergoing restoration. The first shipment for Volkswagen Canada reached Toronto in early December 1952. At least one Type 1 from this first shipment still exists, and was driven nationwide. Tour for Volkswagen Canada's 60th year of business festivities in 2012. By 1955, sales on a basis that warranted the building of the Volkswagen plant on 1932-acre 13HA, a site on Scarborough's Golden Mile, to this, a 60,000 square foot, which is 5,600 meters squared, building with administration showroom, service, repairs, and parts was built in 1957 with storage of $4,000 of parts. In 1959, VW started production at a plant near Sao Paulo in Brazil. Volkswagen do Brazil was accused of spying on workers during the time of the military dictatorship in the 1970s and informing police on oppositional activities. In 1976, mass arrests occurred and some VW employees were tortured. In 1979, Brazilian VW workers traveled to Wolfsburg to inform the CEO in person. In 2015, activists and former VW employees in Brazil spoke out in public accused of the company's silence about persecution of its workers. In fall 2016, VW commissioned an expert review of the situation due end of 2017. On August 22, 1960, Volkswagen Work GmbH was renamed to Volkswagen Work AG. Sales soared throughout the 1960s, peaking at the end of the decade, thanks in part to the famous advertising campaigns by New York advertising agency Doyle Dane Bernbach, led by art director Helmut Korn and copywriters Julian Koenigo and Bob Levinson. Volkswagen advertisements became as popular as the car, using crisp layouts and witty copy to lure the younger, sophisticated consumers with whom the car became associated. Even though it was almost universally known as the Beetle or the Bug, it was never officially labeled as such as such by the manufacturer, instead referred to as the Type 1. Although the car was becoming outdated during the 1960s and early 1970s, American exports' innovative advertising and a growing reputation for reliability helped production figures surpass the levels of the previous record holder, the Ford Model T. On February 17, 1972, the 15,007,034th Beetle was sold. Volkswagen can now claim the world's production record for the most produced single make of car in history. By 1973, total production was over 16 million. To commemorate its passing, the Ford Model T's record sales mark and its victories in the Baja 1000 Mexican races from 1967 to 1971, Volkswagen produced its first limited edition Beetle. It was marketed as the Baja Championship CE in the United States and the Marathon Super Beetle in the rest of the world. It featured unique Marathon Blanc metallic blue paint, steel-pressed 10-spoke 15-inch, which is 38 centimeters, magnesium alloy wheels, a commemorative metal plate mounted on the glove box, and a certificate of authenticity presented and the original purchaser. Dealer installed options for this limited edition Super Beetle included the following: white stripes running the length of the rocker panel, a special shifter knob, bumper overriders, tapered exhaust tips, fake walnut inserts in the dashboard, behind the steering wheel and the glove box cover, as well as Bosch fog lights mounted on the front bumper. Beetle to Golf, 1961 to 1973. A 1961 Type 1 Beetle had a 36 HP, 120cc four-cylinder, air-cooled flat-four opposed OHV engine made of aluminum alloy block and heads. By 1966, the Type 1 came with a 1,300 engine. By 1967, the Type 1 had a 1500 engine and a 1600 in 1970. The air-cooled engine lost favor in the United States market with the advent of non-leaded gasoline and smog controls. These air-cooled engines were commonly turned to be fuel-rich in order to control engine overheating, and this led to excessive carbon monoxide emissions. VW production equipment was eventually moved to Mexico, where vehicle emissions were not regulated. Beetles were popular on the USA West Coast, where the limited capacity cabin heating was less inconvenient. Beetles were popularized on the U.S. West Coast as beach buggies and dune buggies. VW expanded its product line in 1961 with the introduction of 4 Type 3 models: Carman, Gia, Notchback, Fastback, and Variant, based on the new Type 3 mechanical underpinnings. The name Squareback was used in the United States for the Variant. In 1961, the larger Type 4, 411, and 412 models were introduced. These differed substantially from previous vehicles, with the notable introduction of the monocoque/unibody construction, the option of a fully automatic transmission, electric fuel injection, and a sturdier power plant. In 1946, Volkswagen acquired Auto Union, and in 1969, NSU Motorner Worker AG NSU.